Welcome back to the shop. So I'm just going to do a short video here on this factory linkage for the 67 to 72 F-100s. People call these the rat trap or the trapeze throttle linkage. I removed mine, and it seems a lot of people are in the same boat and would like to remove theirs. And the reason I removed mine was it was binding up quite bad. Linkages are quite worn. It's got a couple flat spots, and you'd give it throttle, it would kind of hang up. You'd have to blip it again to get it to drop back down. Definitely not something you want with your throttle. So I ended up taking mine off and just fabbed up a straight linkage. So there's a couple ways you can go about this. If you can find the linkage, you need the pedal assembly from a 73 to 79 F-100. You can just take your pedal assembly, swap that out, and then it'll have a straight rod as well if you can get that off the truck. Why Ford used this for these years, I don't know. I've had other vintage Fords, 67 Mustang and all that, and they just had straight linkage as well. I assume some engineer thought this was going to be the way of the future, and I've heard different reasons as to why they did this. Some people have said it's, in case the cab shifts, it won't pin your throttle open. It's supposed to stabilize it. So my thinking is Ford ditched it in 73, so it was just kind of an overkill idea that somebody had. I'll show you what I used here to fab mine up. Again, like I said, a couple ways to do it, but what I got was some of these throttle linkage ball joints, unfortunately by my favorite company, but they're the only ones I could find. That's the part number there. So got a pack of these. I couldn't buy them individually, so it cost a little more money than I wanted to spend, but I've got some extras in case you need them in the future. And this is what they look like. So you just need threaded rod. I opted to use solid steel rod and thread the ends because I didn't, want the look of all thread. It just kind of looks a little cheesy. So, and then you've just got your stud on the end there that bolts into your carb, and like I said, it's a bolt joint, so you don't have to worry about binding or anything like that. I know guys who said, "Oh, I just took some all thread and bent it to 90." You can do that too, but this is the way to go, especially for a truck that's gonna be on the road. If you're got a farm truck or a bush truck or something, you want to bend rod and do it that way, that whatever. But so that, and then I just got some nylock nuts as well to mount them on there, but I'll take you out and show you what we did there. So this is how your stock setup will look. You have your bracket bolted to the intake with just 2 bolts here, and your rod going back to the bracket on the firewall. You got your one linkage coming back to your accelerator pedal linkage, and then your other rod coming up here to connect to your carb, and it'll probably have baling wire, string, and whatever bits and pieces because somebody broke and lost a clip at some point. So anyways, like I said, disconnected all this, ditched mine. What you might want to do before you take your old linkage off is measure your center to center on your studs, and that gives you a rough idea of where your new linkage needs to be. Works out to right about 11 inches. And the rod itself obviously is going to be a little bit shorter, and that's probably about 10 inches there. Nice thing with these ball joint studs is if you thread a little extra, you can kind of adjust them in and out to compensate. Now, reason for that is if you make your linkage too long or too short, you're going to affect the pedal height in the cab. Obviously, if you make it too long, your pedal's going to sit low on the floor, and you're not going to be able to get full throttle out of it. The other side of that, if you make it too short, your pedal's going to sit quite high, and it'll be uncomfortable to drive. So be sure to check that. Like I said, 11 inches for this one worked out well. That's with the stock style Holly on there, 2-barrel. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward setup. I did have to drill out the linkage on the carb here. It was a little too small for the new stud, so I just went up to the next size on that. And like I said, nylock nuts for sure. I may even drill and put a cotter pin in through there, but that's a bit overkill for what we're doing here. So like I said, pretty pretty cheap and easy to fabricate this stuff. You can go with all thread. Be warned if you do this and you use these Dorman joints, these are 1/4 28, and most all thread that you come across will be 1/4 20. So what I ended up doing, I just got some 1/4 inch steel rod and I tapered the end down a little bit and just used a 1/4 28 to thread my ends. Like I said, some guys use all thread. I don't like the look of that. And there is a way around that, either brake line or some sort of steel tubing. You can use stainless if you want, polish it up, and just get one that's got the same ID as the OD of the all thread, slip it over top as a sleeve, and kind of dresses it up nice. But also keep in mind, if you're going to go with these same ones here, they're also 1/4 28 on the linkage side, so you'll have to take that into consideration. I had to go to my local parts house to find 1/4 28 nylocks. They're a little tough to come by. You're not going to find them in your average hardware store unless you've got a really good hardware store. But yeah, like I said, keep that in mind. These don't come with the nuts, so you'll have to get your own. Definitely an improvement. Like I said, that factory linkage just seemed like a bit of an over-engineered nightmare. I'm sure there was a purpose or a thought behind it, but tons of other vehicles are out there running around with just straight linkage and no issues. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you have any questions, fire them down below. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.